Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Coffee, Patreon, Crypto and Thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, JMels24, Unamento, Iron26, Endless, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand across to whoever is in the Discord and G Plus panels, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. Hello. Evidence a physical geometric sphere edge that's a horizon, formerly known as Earth curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The horizon.
What about it?
That's where, if I'm standing on a beach and I'm looking at a boat floating in the distance and it just floats out of my sight, that means it went over the curve of the Earth. That's what the horizon's all about, Earth curve.
No. See, that suggestion that the boat went over the horizon called Earth curve is Earth curve only in a mathematics called Earth curve mathematics. And that Earth curve, residing at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, physical in nature, marked with an X and labelled horizon, not only relies on Earth being measured flat at surface level, and your elevation perpendicular to surface level, and your eye level flat parallel with the flat surface level. You also have to believe that you are viewing the world in side view with your own head in shot at a geometric horizon below the flat surface level you've just measured at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height off a flat Earth in feet, so that you can say the distance measured in a linear fashion in kilometres or miles can infer that there's a blockage for the horizon mathematicized below the surface level to be obscuring your view at a distance that's also measured flat. So no, boats don't go over a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve marked with an X and labelled horizon in Earth curve mathematics. That relies on us measuring the surface as a flat, plane surface to achieve those inferences of Earth curve blocking boats. Any effects of the claim to be Coriolis force observable to us. Ergo, there is no evidence of us turning. There's only the inference that comes with the suggestion that there's going to be a Coriolis deflection that doesn't exist. The evidence of the distance to the sun.
93 million miles away. It's in the textbooks.
No. Your 93 million mile distance is a heliocentric derivation of an R value assumed by Christian Huygens to be the same size as Earth's when looking at Venus. And Earth's assumed radius value, put into motion by Copernicus, is derived by Al-Biruni measuring physical geometric sphere edges for horizons below surface level, and then taking elevation angle measurements to stars, for example Polaris, to create concentric rings that are flat, to be later wrapped around a spherical surface after projecting the star view that we get with a parallel sky into a celestial sphere. And then PZX points can be plotted through an equatorial plane that we measured the angles from through a ball we're not standing on to the equatorial plane. When you've got that system, can you hear this in Discord, Dank? Is this sound not coming through to Discord? You there, Dank?
Oh boy.
Can you jump in Discord, Neil, and see if the audio is coming through?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. You can then take that geocentric system and put it into motion around the sun from the equatorial plane at vernal equinox, all requiring a plane of reference for us to move around the sun mathematically. So we're going to measure a flat Earth, create a system with a ball wrapped around us that we call the stars, celestial sphere, and then put that in motion around the sun, aka Copernicus. Assume we've got...
Negative.
You're not getting it?
No.
But you're getting me.
Well, I had to jump back in here to get you.
You had to jump back in... No. You're in Discord now. You can hear me in Discord now, right? Stay in Discord, Neil. Can you hear me in Discord, Neil? Hello, Neil. Hello, Neil. Neil. You're not... Oh, my God, this is painful. Can you hear us, Stank?
Nathan,
Yes.
I hear you in Discord. You just weren't hearing me. So it's probably on my end, but I hear you in Discord.
Right, but you're not
Saying
hearing...
this is painful.
But you're not hearing me play anything, right?
Let me go back.
Scale and size from Huygens with Venus, and scale and size for Earth as a ball violating the base principle of the Earth that's flat that we measure. That's Al-Biruni. No, I mean, I'm not going to accept that we've got that distance, Neil. I can unpack every single element of the assumptions that are utilised and... No, nothing? Okay, well, you're not replying to me, Neil, so whatever's your issue around. Right, I need to figure out this audio issue so that Discord are getting it played through to them. An R value assumed by Christian Huygens to be the same size as Earth's when looking at Venus. And Earth's assumed radius value put into motion by Copernicus is derived by Al-Biruni measuring physical geometric sphere edges for horizons below surface level, and then taking elevation angle measurements to stars, for example Polaris, to create concentric rings that are flat, to be later wrapped around a spherical surface after projecting the star view that we get with a parallel sky into a celestial sphere, and then PZX points can be plotted through an equatorial plane that we measure the angles from, through a ball we're not standing on, to the equatorial plane. Okay, that plays through now. Sorry to get stroppy with you, Dank. Right. Can I just get a check 1, 2 or something from Discord, and then if G Plus can just check that they can communicate with Discord, please. Hello, Discord.
We can hear you.
Perfect. I can hear you. Neil, can you hear Discord?
Yes.
Let's just try that again. Neil, can you hear Discord?
Give me a minute, Nathan.
Jesus wept.
I can hear Discord.
Oh, Jardo. Are you in Discord or G Plus?
G plus at the moment.
Oh, well, then you get my thanks rather than shouted at. Well done. Excellent. So you can hear G Plus. G Plus can hear you, Discord. I assume you can hear this conversation in Discord, right?
Yes.
And then everything works.
Loud and clear.
Then I'm a happy person. I'm so bleeding fickle. Had it not been working, you'd all be getting shouted at. Totally unjustified. You're the only reason I'm here. Most of you that are sat on this panel currently are probably the only reason I got my mortgage paid this month. Thank you all. I'm sorry I'm so stroppy. Just tired.
Nathan, we all know you by now. Nobody gets offended. Relax, buddy.
It's really good.
I was slightly offended.
That's good you got thin skin, but you're still a man.
Guns and Navarone left me a comment. Said, unsubscribed. What a disgrace. Relinquishing my membership.
We're getting to him. He's getting thin skin. But I've thought about when he comes back on. He's taking it really personal.
But he probably is a shill. I just don't care either way. It's a bit like the Antarctic situation. Like, all right, so it was filmed in a tent of tellies then, was it? By the special effects expert claiming to be a flat earther. Oh, right. You bunch of jokers. You still measured Earth flat in those tent of tellies, though, didn't you? Yeah? The angle requires surface level. So who cares?
Here's my thing with him. How many years has he been in the chat? And now you're going to pipe up? Come on.
Who cares? Doesn't matter. My feelings towards these individuals when they behave in a certain way is irrelevant of their motivation. That's to say, Jaron being a government-paid shill would not change or alter my motivation to want him to put forth better flat earth arguments when I sat in front of him and asked that he put forth better flat earth arguments. Did I know that he was going to come out and start saying Earth was a ball a year later when he was calling me a scammer and just not exercising decent arguments for the flat earth we measure? No, I didn't care. His motivation is still irrelevant. Had he still been a flat earther after the fact, I'd still want him to, put out good arguments as a flat earther. My motivation is irrelevant of their motivation, right? If they're paid by government to be here to throw off the flat earth, so what? Doesn't change what Earth is, does it? Who cares? Work all, yeah, okay, great. Work as hard as you possibly can. Pay 20 times the amount of people to come and try and throw everyone off kilter. We'll still be talking about Earth being measured flat, won't we? Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't affect us. It can never affect us because we know what's going on. I mean, it's like, what can they possibly do for us to turn around and say, all right, it's a sphere? Nothing. It's over.
Yeah, so they write us off, tuck us in a corner of the internet, hope we don't affect the rest of the masses that are kept under control by things like heliocentrism. Just hope that we don't have too much influence on them. Well, they've got the means of the distribution of our information and they can limit it to the general populace. So they've won. If you want to look at it from that perspective, they own YouTube. If they are they, and they are they because they're the ones controlling the algorithm, therefore the distribution of information is the most powerful sword you could wield in modern society, at least. Well, if government says no to flat earth on YouTube and what do flat earthers get as a response from YouTube? Okay, no worries.
Yeah, we're the new untouchables, Nathan.
What makes you say that? I don't know about that, Neil. What do you mean, untouchables?
Well, nothing they can do could touch us. So what are you gonna? I just said it's not a sphere. The game's over. So we're basically untouchable.
No, that seems non sequitur to me. It's inconsequential by way of influence on the masses if we're kept tucked in a corner, and the general masses are kept under the impression that flat earthers are stupid idiots swinging on gates while Simon Dunn says that they sound stupid. No one's hearing the you and your reference frames are ruined. And if they did, they wouldn't know the significance, because the significance is also tucked away in the corner that we're talking. The power of influence is handed over to the influencers. They want the content to be coming from approved sources that say what they want them to say. Well, if that source is Dan and his rhetoric of Earth being a sphere, then that is what the people will get. And the fact that we appreciate that, and the people around us have appreciated that, well, we're just lost causes to the powers that should not be that control the algorithmic love that we do not receive on YouTube.
Hold on. We're still untouchable. They could do what they want. Maybe they could put us in a corner, but they can't stop us. Now we have a book coming out. YouTube is not connected to literature. Okay?
Nobody puts
So
baby in
we
a
are
corner.
untouchable.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist the joke from Dirty Dancing.
Why? Nobody puts baby in a corner. Nobody puts fire debate in a corner. You could hate us. You could boycott us. You could FED bad, but don't put us in the corner.
Indeedy.
No, you mean MBB.
What are we doing today?
I have nothing. I've been working till 5 o'clock every night on this
Okay.
stupid job. It's actually for my brother's apartment, but I'm getting paid dirt. But at least I'm getting paid. I can't say no to it. And I only almost had a heat stroke 2 days in a row. We'll see what happens today. Oh, you mean what are we doing here? I don't know. Pick out a video. Listen, you could every day. They're running stuff 24/7 on Shill Station. Robbie Davidson and Celebrate Truth 24/7, and his voice is very nervous, by the way. Duffy's like a guy that's very nervous and trying to like put out a fire.
That's the price you pay to be a globehead. And life in perpetual fear that the worst might be true. You're bracing against the truth is not embracing the truth. So us embracing the truth, I sit quite relaxed. I mean, I've been putting my camera more and more on because, generally speaking, people hear this tone of absolute discernment and total aggression and don't realise that I'm actually sat with my feet up, holding a cup of coffee, chilled. I couldn't be in a more comfortable position. So I want to put that across to the audience. And the easiest way to do that is to put the camera on. Because then when you see me, even if I'm being really aggressive, it's like, yeah, it's just done to make a point. I'm actually sat with my feet up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know why people haven't figured that out yet.
I don't know either, but I want to point it out. Especially when maybe I should do it when I'm being exceedingly aggressive with some numpty. Like, why are you so triggered? Camera on, me sat with a cup of coffee, feet up, leaning back, going, yeah, I'm not.
You know something? You should do that one time. Have the camera on when you're tearing somebody apart, and they'll see that you're still casual.
And then it loses all dramatic effect, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, you
when your
can't
body language
break the fourth
absolutely
wall.
doesn't match. I was going to tell you this yesterday. Before I think it was the Friday live show, right? Just before we went live, I fell asleep while you were talking to me. I woke up and I'm like, oh, what time is it? And then just about to go live. And it got lots of compliments, that Friday show. You and I both got lots of compliments about that show. And the clips that I was just playing are all trimmed out of that show. Like I say, it wasn't like I was on the edge of exhaustion. I'd gone past exhaustion and literally fell asleep whilst running a show. Now, if that had happened just after I'd gone live, the consequences could have been a lot worse. Fortunately, it was just during the recording. Speaking of which.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hello.
Where's the gun?
The Chilean government were escorting somebody off the Antarctic, let's call it continent, because of their lack of the correct documentation. So we found the guns. I mean, Adam Meakin specifically informed me that the guns had been found. Now, my concerns with general travel and my experience with armed guards being at various different checkpoints where I had to hand over this little book called a passport in order to enter various different countries legally, and they'd quite frequently check my possessions and check my person to see that I didn't have anything that that country disallowed, whilst there was men standing over me with big guns. That was pointed out in terms of the Antarctic region being under limited expeditional capabilities by the general population. Now, that is exacerbated by the Antarctic Treaty and guarded at gunpoint by anybody who would prevent somebody like the man who recently landed there from being there without permission. They will and are escorted away at gunpoint. So we figured out where the guns were. Meanwhile, the deflection to where guns are when landing in an area that you might not be allowed to be isn't necessarily dealing with the flat Earth elevation angle measurements of the sun for a 24-hour period in the Antarctic, affirming that Earth is indeed measured flat. The very thing being put to the Antarctic expeditioner known as McToon for the literal 100th time when measuring Earth flat there in real time, as I told him, personally. After he contacted me proactively, the only flat earther to receive such a phone call from Antarctica. How many other people can say, I received a phone call from Antarctica as they measured Earth flat. I pointed out that they measured Earth flat live while they were measuring Earth flat and was asked about guns or some nonsense. Not many people can say that. I can, as a flat earther pointing out that Earth is measured flat in Antarctica to the people measuring it flat while they were measuring it flat.
That
Guns.
must have annoyed the hell out of them. Nathan, I think I remember the end of that. He's telling somebody that he just called you and you deflected with measurements. Who was he saying that to? Duffy?
I was saying that to McKeegan, who was filming him go bonkers screaming my name into the snow about there being a 24-hour sun that he'd measured with flat Earth elevation angles to it. But I tried to deflect to the measurements he was making. Apparently he was screaming that at what's his name? McKeegan.
So McKeegan knew that he was ringing you up. So he's another meatball.
I mean, I don't care. I don't exactly genuinely feel privileged to have received a phone call as a flat earther from Antarctica. I mean, what did I do with it? I repeated myself for the 100th time to a man who's proactively chased me like a creepy stalker for quite some time and been told the same thing over and over again. You've measured Earth flat with elevation angles in your 10k challenge. And on Antarctica. Hey, one deck.
Hi guys, hi Nathan.
Hello.
Jalto posted a video if you want to go over it. It's a Master Big. Go ahead, one deck, sorry.
Neil, if you had to spoon with McKeegan for 3 days straight, you'd go a bit bonkers as well.
Well, from what I heard, McToon was an annoying guy. Nobody wanted to be around him.
Okay, who cares? I mean, it's just as much an ad hominem of personal attack when you describe how irritating someone like McToon is. Who cares? Now, I don't care if he's a genuinely lovely bloke or accused of the most heinous crimes known to man. It literally makes no difference to what he did. Yeah? Does it invalidate the flat Earth elevation angle measurements that he made because he's a really horrible chap, allegedly? Does it matter?
There you go again, deflecting with measurements.
What, deflecting away from the ad hominem attack about how nice a guy he is? I don't care how nice a guy is. He could be a great guy or a terrible guy. It doesn't matter to me. He's measuring Earth flat. What did I tell him when he phoned me up proactively? Yeah, that would be his 100th time getting in touch with me proactively. I'm not chasing this guy down, am I? Right? He's contacting me proactively to tell me what? That he's looked at the sun for a 24-hour period and measured it flat with angles. These angles, the ones on screen right now. This is an elevation angle measurement. So if you're going to suggest that you've got the angle measurements to the sun for a 24-hour period, then you're telling me that you've measured Earth flat for 24 hours with varying different angle measurements. That's what this is. Surface level and level to the line to the sun for a 24-hour period is nothing more than an affirmation that we measured Earth flat for 24 hours. And that's exactly what I told him. Did I say, I hear you're an horrible guy. Nobody likes you, Toon. Everybody there hates you. I don't care. What I do say is, he screamed my name into the snow about guns when I pointed out Earth was being measured flat, there and then. Now, deflection to measurements. No. Deflection to guns. Because the measurements are a flat Earth, and I don't care if Toon deflects. I don't care if he understands it. I don't care if he lies about it or is a terrible person. Earth is still measured flat, regardless of how Toon measured it flat, or lied about it not being flat with an elevation angle as depicted on screen now. That's what it was. An elevation angle measurement is a flat Earth measurement. It's a prerequisite for part of the angle that you're measuring the surface. The GP is always going to be at 90 degrees to the zenith of the sun. This is what an elevation angle is. So do I care that some shyster liar called McDuffie was down there with McKeegan being lied to by McToon about how it ain't a flat surface level to measure the angle that he's measured? It's still actually a surface level measurement of an angle, regardless of what they say, do, or how they are, or how they behave, or what they are as people. Earth's still measured flat. So in literal terms, I don't care what they say about their experiments. Same flat Earth measurements. They're not. Does it matter that they call them experiments? No, not really. Still measured flat. What's like they still say that it's an experiment that validated the globe? They still measured it flat though, didn't they? So who cares? You can either understand and recognise that. Flat Earth elevation angle measurement is another example of it. This one's come from a book that liked to talk about the globe on page 97 after talking about how flat Earth must be to measure the angle like this, depicted with an angle described as 90 degrees at the zenith of the star, just like it was for the sun, and an angle being two straight lines meeting at a vertex that kind of looks like it's curving. Yeah, if it was, it wouldn't be an angle anymore, and you wouldn't be able to put the words here, numbers, 60 degrees. It wouldn't be, because this wouldn't be giving you an angle if it's curved. It's no longer an angle. It is. That's how we measure the surface of Earth. This is what they measured in Antarctica. They measured Earth flat. And for the very literal 100th time I told Toon he'd done that, only to get a response of, where are the guns? That's it.
So wait a
flat.
second. You're saying he deflected. I never heard you say that before. That's
Yes.
a good point.
It's called projection.
He deflected with guns.
Yes. When he deflected with guns, the instantaneous human response is to project that onto your enemy, me being his enemy, Toon's enemy being myself. So he needs to deflect away from flat Earth elevation angle measurements he's had pointed out to him literally for 100th time, live while he's measuring them. So he projected his deflection to guns instantaneously onto me with the following words. He, meaning myself, Nathan Oakley, tried to deflect with measurements. Toon is saying in that statement, quote, he tried to deflect with measurements, end quote, McToon, whilst on the Antarctic continent, measuring flat Earth elevation angles to the sun for a 24-hour period. He is deflecting two guns and projecting said deflection onto me in that moment. Straight up projection. Very simple. So yes, he tried to deflect with guns from the flat Earth he was measuring, and was being told for the 100th time that he was measuring it while he was measuring it with angles to the sun. Earth's measured
Talking
flat.
about
Go, Jado.
talking about scammers in Antarctica. I posted in Master B a video which is the most watched flat Earth video in the last 3 years. It's been up for 8 days and had 22,000 views. It's called Scamtarctica 3 by a YouTube
Spacebusters.
channel called Spacebusters. Now, it's full of absolute nonsense, but it's full of crystal gems. It might want to, it goes for 3 hours, but considering we have 1.5 secret Gleasonists on the FED panel, it might be something worthwhile entering into, considering there's still a lot of flat earthers out there trying to resuscitate the old AE representation.
Who's the closet Gleasonist, as you put it? Very nicely phrased.
They know who they are.
No. You don't get away with that. You can't call 1.5 of the panel closet Gleasonists and not say who that is. You're going to have to name and shame them.
Yeah, you got to give names now.
Okay, how about this? If you enter into this video and start it, you'll flush them out.
That's it. Oh, I was about to moan about the conditional acceptance I was being offered, but that sounds reasonable. Fine. Do you have some timestamps for me, though? Or is it just play and hope? 3 hours, 32 minutes and 9 seconds.
Oh, look, he goes into some apologetics, and I think in about the first 5 minutes, because he did the previous 2 videos, so he apologises to some people for using their content without getting authorization, and then he accepts that some things in 1 and 2 he got quite wrong, and then he moves on. I'd probably go between the 5 to 7 minute mark, anywhere there, start it there.
Lockport Lock is at mile 321 there, and Rochester Lock is at mile 259 there. 321 minus.
Go on. Or mute if you're in Discord. G+, sorry. Someone's making noise in G+.
Minus 259 makes that stretch 62 miles long.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't listen to the bit that preceded this, but as soon as you describe anything as being measured as 62 miles long, that's a flat Earth linear-only distance designation. Earth is flat to have 62 miles, full stop. Miles are flat, Earth is flat, linear distance measurement affirms it. To have 62 miles, Earth is flat. Do we all understand this? I want to mush this up into the nonsense that follows in this video. Do we all understand that linear distance measurement in the form of kilometres or miles is flat? Do we all understand this?
Yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, let me ask a different question.
Yeah.
Given...
I think this content creator does as well.
But Lockport's elevation above tidewater at Albany is 512 feet there, and Rochester's
512 feet in elevation is 512 feet off a flat planar surface, and if it's going to be literally physically measured, it will be described from sea level. Sea level being a measurement to give us a planar surface to describe it from. A flat Earth only description, that would be all heights ever require a flat Earth to describe them. Without exception, we're, I don't know, because we're at 6 minutes or whatever it is, but, you know, let's say it's 20 seconds of what we've watched. And we've got prerequisites up the yazoo that require Earth be flat. Not debatable, not we'll discuss this further to figure out if we're a flat plane or not. Unless we accept it, we haven't got these measurements.
is only 509 feet there, showing the water down that whole 62-mile stretch only descends 3 feet from Lockport to Rochester.
Yeah, again, to describe the relief, the 3 feet relief, is also described from the flat plane of reference. Relief, how much stuff will dribble off of the plane because it's falling away from what? The horizontal plane of reference that gives us depression and height. So if we're going to measure relief, it's measured with respect to a plane of reference. Every Earth measurement, without exception, is flat. So far, we've had miles, heights, and relief. Now, we don't often have relief, do we? I don't mean in the, sense that I'm quite relieved right now, or just, relieved myself in the bathroom. That's not what I mean. I mean in terms of the relief of the surface that's described from a flat plane, to have the relief capable of being described. It drives me nuts. All of these prerequisites.
No.
Just end it here. That's it. Now, Brian would say, well, my videos would be pretty short if I just said, well, we're going to travel 62 miles. Game over, that's it, flat Earth proven, bye, have a nice day. It's like, well, I've only got a 20-second video. It's like, well, yeah, so long as you keep me happy by pointing that out at the beginning of your 20-second video, and then add on how if you ignore that you've just measured Earth flat in 3 different ways, you can go on to assume that these incapable of measurement on a sphere Earth descriptions work on a sphere somehow and are comparable to the flat Earth only measurements that were prerequisites in the first place, then we can have a 20-minute video. Yeah, we can, but it seems absurd to me that we'd take flat Earth prerequisites and measurements and suggest how they might work on a ball. Why would we do such nonsense? Go on, someone was trying to get something in there. Go ahead. Nope. Okay.
If the Earth were a globe 24,901 miles in circumference and proper allowance made for curvature, there would be a divergency from either end to end of each other of 2,562 feet 8 inches.
No, the divergence is described in Earth curve mathematics from surface level. That's the derivation. That's what they give you. That's what they claim is Earth curvature. But again, like the distance, like the height, like the relief, the measurement of surface level in Earth curve maths also requires Earth be measured as a flat plane to describe how much it's deviating from the surface level. 8 inches per mile squared as a rough estimate.
Or rather, the apex of the arc of that 62 miles would have to be...
No, miles don't arc. They're linear. You see what happens when you give our opponents the considerations that they don't deserve? You end up describing linear miles as being curved. They're not. Yeah? That's why you're whistling past the flat Earth prerequisites for our opponents to have their argument brought into nonsensical buffoonery. It already is as soon as you start giving them the concession that you can have miles on a globe. You can't. They're linear.
1/4 of that divergency.
Divergency from a surface level that you can only describe it diverging from. Yeah, you need a flat Earth to describe the divergence, though, don't you?
Meaning 640 feet of fall.
You fall from a surface level. You need a flat Earth to describe this. This is nonsense. No offense, Space Busters. I don't know you, and I'm sure you do really great work. But this just seems old and busted to me. Giving them globes that deviate in a linear fashion. It makes no sense. It's an nonsensical contradiction in terms when you understand linear distance measurement and heights off surface levels and sea levels and all the things that are needed to make any measurements of Earth ever. I can't give any of this to the globe anymore, and therefore I'm going to be giving off disdain to what are seemingly my brethren on the flat Earth side, who are only doing their best to show how it's not a globe. You don't need to. The things used to describe how it's not a globe don't work on a globe and require a flat plane to describe them.
In both directions, from the 31-mile midpoint between them to either side, 640 feet that way and 640 feet that way. Or rather, if we lived on a globe, they would have had to have dug down 640 feet deep at the 31-mile middle point of these two locks and then dig level from each end to meet it in the middle in order to make this canal nearly level. But
No, you're saying make it nearly level to describe how much you deviate from the level that you've got to describe the level from if you're on a ball. You've got multiple flat Earth prerequisites to describe how ball-shaped it's not. When you deviate from how ball-shaped it's not, that's how flat it is measured, to describe how ball-shaped it isn't measured when you deviate from how flat it is measured. So who cares how ball-shaped it isn't? It literally isn't even worth mentioning, because every single measurement, distance, height, relief, all of it is actually capable of measurement and has been measured on Earth flat. So that's it. This is all just giving our opponents apologetics that they don't need, or explaining why their apologetics don't work.
they didn't do that. And yet there are only 3 feet.
Yet they didn't do that. So what did they do? Focus on that. What did they do? Well, they surveyed and measured and built on the Earth as a surface that's flat. Referencing it flat, measuring it flat, detailing deviations from the flat surface, having a surface to deviate from in terms of the measured average sea level for the entirety of the world as a flat planar surface, with an average to have it deviating from, or the heights of mountains capable of description from as an entire flat plane surface. all of these things, everything I've just described, has no business being associated with anything global. Because there isn't anything global in these mathematics, measurements, or descriptions of how Earth is physically being utilised. So who cares what the globers say, or what it isn't doing globe-shaped? What it is doing, how it is measured, how we do utilise Earth, is flat.
Difference
That's
in
right,
elevation.
Nathan. It's like,
as I
sorry, mate. He keeps saying, he's saying like, oh, well, if the Earth was a globe, you don't even have to go there. If the Earth was a globe, we'd obviously have globe measurements, which there is none of anywhere whatsoever. And whatever measurements you do find that they tell you is a globe measurement will be actually an elevation flat Earth angle measurement from surface level and eye level using elevation angles and nothing to do with a curvature measurement. So all this, if the Earth was a globe, well, it's not, because it's not measured that way. So we don't even have to talk about that. Simple, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't. That's what I'm trying to stress. Thank you for the summary. You can't, if you understand how Earth is measured, describe Earth as being a sphere as a prerequisite, because it isn't one, because the prerequisite is flat. So all measurements of the surface of Earth will be flat. Therefore, if Earth's a sphere, well, then none of the prerequisite measurements of Earth's surface will work. That's the end of the discussion.
show you why. The next longest level on the Erie Canal is between Syracuse and York Mills. Syracuse is at mile 166 there, and York Mills at mile 113 there. 166 minus 113 is 53 miles between them, and yet the surveyor's theodolite and transit level have both ends at just under 427 feet above tidewater at Albany. So there is an
So you know, at this point, I've got nothing to criticise, because all he's done at this stage, although I can hear it in his tone, he's about to compare this to globe, isn't he? But if I just took this section in isolation, yeah, that's it. That's the end of the discussion. You've got the surface level measured at both ends with respect to tide level, as you phrased it. Yeah. So all of the measurements of Earth have been flat, and there's no other way of detailing them. The measurement between them in miles was linear. So everything about this is only a flat Earth prerequisite description and measurement, and reiteration from you after the fact of all those three precursors. So we've got a flat Earth being described, measured, and detailed. That's it. What else can you say beyond is the measurements of Earth? You don't have to say they're flat, they just are.
even a 3-foot drop here.
Drop would be described from surface level, though. To describe a drop, like in earth curve maths, they describe a drop 8 inches per mile squared. Well, that drop is described from surface level. The capability of having a physical geometric spheroid horizon drop has to have something for it to drop from, and that would be the surface level measurement in earth curve maths. This drop that you're about to describe is no different. Any earth measurement with a drop ascribed to it has a surface level measurement to have the drop detailed from. It is quite simple. Earth's being measured flat in all instances. This is no exception. Go ahead, whoever it was that opened their mic.
It might have been me just referencing, he's also referencing theodolites, which is angle measuring equipment, nothing to do with measuring curvature whatsoever.
Again, Spacebusters, don't take this the wrong way, right? We're not really critiquing you. We've been trained like monkeys to do this, to tell the world how Earth's not a ball. Now we need to undo that. It's not necessary. Yeah, we've been trained by a load of shills that have come out of the woodwork recently. They all did this. Told us how Earth isn't a ball, so that we can talk about how ball-shaped it is or isn't forever. And in so doing, we whistle straight past all these flat Earth measurements you're doing such a great job of detailing in prerequisite format. But for now, that'll change shortly, I don't doubt.
Just flat as a pancake with 0 locks or gates for 53 miles. There should be a divergency of over 52 miles of 1,000.
Who wants to tell him off? Me or someone else?
Well, I will. Because again, he's saying there should be. Well, there isn't. So what we're looking at, what should be there, what isn't there. But you've just told us it's flat and level and flat as a pancake. And that's because it is.
Yeah, I've done this for so long that I can preempt what I want to do and where I want the discussion to go based on how people are talking. So now I get to, in a jokey sense, with a smile, but pretend disdain, call him a shill. So why are you telling us what it should do? So it should do what a globe says it should do, should it? No. I've just literally 5 seconds before you've said this said there's no need to point out what a globe would do in mathematical terms when the globe itself comes from flat Earth prerequisite measurements. So therefore suggesting what a globe should do is irrelevant based on every single measurement of Earth that you've just detailed. You can't describe what a globe would or wouldn't do. You certainly shouldn't be telling us what it should do when you make an observation and a measurement of a flat Earth. There's no should be doing anything. It's just what are you measuring and how did you measure it? You measured it flat, so it's flat. If it ain't, then your measurements are invalid. If you don't want the measurements, then toss them to the curb. That's what I'm telling Duffy currently. You don't want your flat Earth measurements, you called experiments, then toss them to the curb. I don't care. But if you want to accept that they're flat Earth prerequisite angle measurements off surface level, they are. They're called elevation angles, are told 203 times. Then you accept that you're measuring a flat Earth for them. Now, you're between a rock and a hard place if you want to use those flat Earth measurements to say, if we're on a ball, well, then they're not measuring a surface level then. And get rid of your measurements. You can't use those if you're on a ball because you haven't got two straight lines meeting at a vertex to call an angle to the sun. If the surface is curving, it ain't an angle, and you haven't got any measurements to call experiments anymore, you bunch of numpties. Oh, you do want to accept the flat Earth elevation angle measurements off surface level? Then get on your bleeding knees and accept that it's a surface level that you're measuring. And once you've accepted that you're measuring a surface level, there's no discussion to have about what a ball should bleed and do. I don't care what a ball should do, I've just measured the surface level. So that's it. We measured surface level, end of discussion. What discussion? Yeah, that's right, there wasn't one, was there?
802 feet 8 inches, or rather, again, an intervening convex apex of that arc.
No, the intervening apex of the arc is described from a surface level that's measured in Earth curve mathematics that describes an observer and a height measured off flat Earth at 1.22 times the square root of it being the distance to the geometric horizon. Shout out to... Oh no, I've pressed the wrong button. I thought that would bring up something else. Whoops. Oh dear. Let's try a different button. Let's try that one. I'll do my shout outs while I'm trying to get the actual chat on screen. So shout out to Himsake, who just says, keep it up, with a super chat. And there's another one that's killed something, I just can't see it. Well, I found 2 books. That's administration, right? Oh, no, that's admission. Maybe. Let's see if I can bring this up on screen. No, that's not right. No, that's not right. Maybe I won't be able to get the chat on screen. There we go. Well, I found 2 books. That's admission, right? Nah, the price of admission is 0 on Flat Earth Debate. Can anyone see what that guy's name was? It's too small on my screen to see what your name is. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Click, click, click.
Thank you for the super chat, Himsake, and click, click, click. Really appreciate the support. But no, the price of admission is 0 here. And you've got 2 options when you come to the main event, the premiere, if you will. When you get here, you find out Earth's measured flat. And then you can look at something like this and me describing how to have a concave or convex surface. You'll have to describe it from the derivation of the flat surface level that we measure with respect to Earth being measured, to describe it deviating from in a curved fashion. So Earth is always measured flat, and you can ascribe that flat Earth measurement to the surface level in Earth curve maths if you want to believe Earth has a curving surface below the measured flat surface level in Earth curve maths. So once you see that there's a flat, measured surface level, you're going to measure your height off when you measure it off Earth as a flat surface level. You can then appreciate that I'm not bullshitting you when I say Earth's measured flat, and it's required to be measured flat for Earth curve belief. Once you understand this, you can get on with your day knowing that Earth's measured flat. You don't have to convert anybody. You know it's flat, and you can get on with your day. Now, if you want to tut and shake your head in disbelief when other people go about their preordained, indoctrinated belief that the surface of Earth is curving, because that's what they were taught in school, then how dare you? They were just indoctrinated like you were until you appreciated what I've just told you. Earth is always measured flat, including but not limited to the assertion that we've got a surface that's curving. You'll still measure Earth flat for that mathematical assertion. But if you did want to tut and shake your head, at least be in a position to understand implicitly why Earth gets measured flat and how the globe came into existence through every facet and detail of heliocentric motion, including but not limited to orbital motion, and Copernican mathematicization of the flat Earth angle measurements to the stars. Because then you can break it down to the next man when you're tutting and shaking your head, rather than just getting on with your day because you know it's flat. But for everybody else who gets here, like I say, there's no fee. You don't have to pay me for hearing that. You know it's flat now, right? If you just got here, no admission needed, no fee chargeable. Free for all, Earth's flat, that's how it's measured. Don't believe me? Go and measure Earth. You want an example? Because you don't want to do it, you're too lazy. There's a guy called MC Toon. Now, for whatever reason, he's got a cursed channel. What do I mean by that? I mean, he got his channel from a guy called Conspiracy Cats, who also got in touch with me and was told on 120 separate occasions that you can't have gas pressure without containment. That guy went nuts, left the arena of flat Earth after telling us, quote, "I'll give you a flat Earth for that," end quote, perspective that he was dealing with, and having to measure Earth led to him measuring Earth flat and, quote, giving us a flat Earth for that, and then buggering off with his tail between his legs to hallucinate that he sees ghosts. But in so doing, he handed over his cursed channel after the 120th rendition of You Can't Have Gas Pressure Without a Container, We'd All Be Dead If the Sky Was a Vacuum, to McToon, a man who later went on to measure Earth flat in Antarctica. And I, like anybody else who comes to my channel, told him, who constantly left message after message after message, proactively contacting me about various garbage that he felt I had the need to hear. I don't care what this man does. He's just a creepy stalker to me, like many others. But nevertheless, this creepy stalker felt the need to contact me over and over again, and every time he got the same rendition of the same answer. We measure Earth flat. You measure Earth flat. Here's your example in your 10K challenge, where the Earth gets measured flat with elevation angle measurements to stars. Now, the 100th rendition to that particular individual, who could have just got on with his day, knowing that Earth was measured flat, chose instead to do the next best thing, prove it to himself. For whatever reason, he decided to go down to Antarctica. This is the fan of Nathan Oakley 1980. He's watched at least 100 of my shows. Definitely a fan. His name's MC Toon. He decided, and it wasn't good enough for me saying Earth's flat, he needed to fly across the surface of Earth in straight and level flight on an aeroplane to a place called Antarctica in the south, a direction only describable on a flat plane, to land and then measure elevation angles again for himself on Antarctica's surface flat than it is with the measurements that he took that require Earth be a flat surface level for the angle measurements he made. Now that guy contacted me yet again proactively from the surface of Antarctica, believe it or not, to be told for the literal 100th time, "You are measuring Earth flat, man." Now, does it bother me that this man went nuts in the face of these facts? They're not disputable, debatable, questionable, argumentable, anything. They're facts. Earth being measured flat as a fact was being experienced in real time as I said those words to McToon. Now, what did he do? Did he accept it and get on with his day? No. He went nuts. Started shouting about guns or something. Went crazy. Yelling at all of the other participants who were also measuring Earth flat there. Yeah, that's what you do. Now, you can just take my word for it. Or you could go to Antarctica in a southward direction, that's flat. Straight and level in flight, that's flat. To measure elevation angle measurements off a flat planar surface to the sun for 24 hours. That's flat. To prove that Earth's measured flat. To tell me that I was wrong about guns. I mean, that would make you seem very insane, but Earth would still be measured flat regardless of how insane MC Toon, with his cursed channel he got from conspiracy cats, who now sees ghosts, is. These numpty idiots seeing ghosts and measuring Earth flat in Antarctica doesn't change that Earth's measured flat. They could have just taken my word for it, or looked at anybody else who's measured Earth ever, because all measurements of Earth are always flat, and you don't have to go out to Antarctica, fly on a flat level surface to prove it to yourself. Just take my word for it. Yeah? It is. Whether you like it or not, Earth is measured flat.
I mean, McToonstones could have just looked at Eratosthenes, how he measured Earth flat 2,000 years ago. Or he could have looked at Al-Biruni's example of, you know, using elevation angles to get the heights of mountain and then taking depression angles. Nothing to do with curvature, but this is how Earth's always been measured. The Greeks knew that. They measured the globe flat. And we've always known that.
Shout out to Jardo for gifting 10 memberships. Really appreciate the support, Jardo. Thank you very much indeed. Actually on the G Plus panel today for a change. Good to have you on the G Plus panel, by the way.
Good to be here.
I wasn't talking to you. Talking to Jardo. You get treated better on the G Plus panel.
Again, always 1/4 the divergency, sloping at 450 feet, 8 inches between them if the Earth were a sphere and 24,901 miles in circumference. But nope, nothing. Flat as a pancake. Here, too, they did not have to dig down 450 feet at the 26-mile center point between the two locks and then dig level from each end to the middle. Our flat level Earth already did it for them long before their engineers ever came along. And since these two canals cannot exist on this globe, but yet there they are, provably flat as a pancake on the ground where we live.
Yeah, and it is a fair play. You can example it with something that's got the ingenuity and capabilities of man to produce something physical that you can point to in terms of the surveying and building that's taken place to produce this. Okay. But every concept that's used in describing it is also flat Earth prerequisite information and measurement. The distance in miles, the relief, all the things I went through earlier. So it's so hard because I want this guy to be on my side, right? I mean, at some point I'm probably going to be in touch with him going, can you put my book under your video and you can be an affiliate and earn 30%? And yet here I am basically saying everything you're doing is redundant. In fact, it's detrimental because you're encouraging the audience to have an understanding of how the globe doesn't work, which still keeps the globe in the forefront of the mind of the person that's hearing, how Earth simply has to be measured flat, and all the distance measurements and surface level surveys to build a canal would have to be. It's like, yeah, everything about it has to be flat in the first instance, and it's useful for me to point this out in the negative towards you, to make the example stronger in the mind's eye of my audience. But I don't want him to perceive that as only being to his detriment personally. It's not. It's so useful to have someone doing this to point out why it's not constructive to incorporate how the globe should work. The only thing I would actually give him criticism for.
Not in the sky where we don't live. We can't be on a globe, whether you saw a light in the sky in Antarctica or not. And therefore, Fantasy Island cannot exist as claimed. Period.
How does that non sequitur function in argumentation and logical form? It doesn't. That was completely non sequitur. And I mean, again, the extrapolations that they might form from their maps and models don't change the flat Earth elevation angle measurements they're making. They'll send a man nuts in the snow screaming my name, right? Where are the guns, right, McToon? Yeah, I'll send you nuts when I actually point out how they measured Earth there, regardless of how the spinning ball space monkey religion depicts it on the bottom of a spherical surface that's also derived from flat Earth measurements. We'll point that out to the ends of the Earth too.
Period. In fact, a datum horizontal line is used in surveying and engineering for measuring distances accurately.
Now we're talking. I can feel the relief washing over me. Let's hear more of this.
Like here, where you have a ground changing in different elevations, it gives you a medium reference to make sure your lighthouse doesn't look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa and
Oh, why do it? Why do it? I could throttle you. Why are you incorporating in that the lighthouse would be deviating on a what's the diverging zeniths? We haven't got reciprocal zenith angles in this depiction of a flat surface level and a datum describing the relief, the elevation, the depression. You can do all of it from surface level if you've got a surface level, and you do. Here it is. So we've got a surface level. Immediately into how it isn't a ball. It's just redundant. It's not necessary. Let's just get a grip. There's a description of the elevations. The profile itself requires Earth be flat. When was this first pointed out? Well, let's give Anthony Riley the props he deserves. You go to Google, you can draw an elevation profile for the entire surface of the plane of Earth, and it will give you the heights, how they deviate from a level plane, the sea level reference. For everything, all of it, the whole of Earth as it's been measured in an elevation profile. You can only do it in that format if Earth is flat, to have it go up or down from that flat planar reference that you've got as a 0 point at sea level. That's how it all functions. That's how Earth is measured. So to have this, you don't need to get into the apologetics that you are with the Leaning Tower of Pisa and our globe has got reciprocal zenith angles. Let them apologise for how they can't make it work with a horizontal planar datum. Don't start giving them on their behalf. It's just not needed. I was about to give you props.
fall into the water. In the British House of Commons standing orders, i.e. the law, Order number 55 states that when building anything, plans have to show the surface of the ground marked on it, the intended level, and a datum horizontal line. That datum line shall be the same throughout the whole length of the work.
Yes. Now, I mean, it could go, well, duh. But yes, exactly. Doesn't matter where you look at it, which way you dice it, when you're measuring stuff that's got reference to Earth and its surface. It is flat. Earth is flat. This measurement, when it says the every 100 feet, yeah, that's linear. Like the miles, like the kilometres, like everything that we'll measure surfaces of Earth with, always. Because Earth's flat. And you don't have to make apologetics for how this isn't ball-shaped either.
And in the case of long projects like a waterway, cut, public carriage, road, a railway, a tram road, it has to be near one of the termini, the beginning or the end. In other words, it's against the law to assume a curved Earth over long-distance engineering projects. So in order to have their cake and eat it too, as is the case in 100-mile-long waterways like the Suez Canal,
here it comes.
They have come up with the theory of equipotential water and gravity to defy logic, observation, and physics. The Suez Canal is a...
I mean, gravity is also always going to be described with respect to flat planar descriptions, be it pseudo-Riemannian fourth-dimensional or Newtonian three-dimensional. You still need it to be flat to describe down. Yeah, they made that mistake and called it an experiment in Antarctica too when they levelled their tool for weighing things to describe their gravitational attraction in a perpendicular to a plane of reference downward orientation. You need a flat plane for that also. Gravity requires the surface of Earth be flat. And many people don't appreciate that when they start reading the words that apologise for the flat planar surface, that you're saying it is the law to measure. No, you don't need to go into the letter of the law because then you can convolute the law with the description of the equipotential gravity. Gravity is going to be perpendicular to a plane of reference. So you give us a crap what they describe as gravity, regardless if it's a fourth-dimensional bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry or a three-dimensional perpendicular to a plane of reference downward force that was debunked 110 years ago. Regardless, you're going to need planes of reference for all of these mathematics in the first instance. Earth's still being measured flat, and the letter of the law, regardless of what it says, they could say in the letter of the law in the next sentence, and it is decreed that you will go to prison unless you accept that it's a curved surface that you've just measured flat. Orwellian doublespeak is tolerable in law. But it doesn't change how Earth gets measured. So again, this becomes redundant because you're just now having to apologise for the letter of the law when it wasn't necessary. It was surplus to requirements. Earth got measured. So just lean into the measurement of Earth and not the law around that measurement that's flat. Because the measurement's flat. That's the be-all and end-all of Earth in its description and its capability of utilisation in all formats. Earth is flat. You don't have to like it. You'll have to measure it that way, though.
Around
Nathan.
100 miles.
Yes.
I think the reason why this guy is so popular and why he gets so many views, apart from his wonderful voice, he's like every flat earther's second team. You know, you have your team that you barrack for, and then you have your second team that you just want to do well, and they have a great defence and they work the ball well, but they just can't score a goal.
You're saying that this guy is like the second team that you support in the third division that is actually from your hometown that never really wins anything. But because you live in the popular big city, you go to the big city games that's got a Premiership team playing in them, and they do win all the games, but you know damn well that they're not your hometown team that doesn't do very well, that's your second team. But it just so happens that this guy has got a lot of people from his hometown that actually do support him, so in spite of him never doing particularly well, he still gets a 30,000 crowd at his home games. That's what you're saying by analogy? Man, I had to unpack that, not being a sports fan. Hope it did well.
Yeah, almost.
Go on then. Where did I get it wrong?
No, the guy is popular. Like, he's very articulate. He's got a great voice. He's got good emotion. So he builds you up, you know. So as a flat earther, and he's got, you know, obviously he's done a little bit of research. So you're egging him on, and then when he stands up at the penalty box, he just misses every time.
Okay.
He's just not got the. I mean, like he's got a little bit better into it. He started off a little bit poor, but like you say, he's still bringing this globe into it. You know, it can't be this good. He's not just getting straight to the point, but he is coming up with some good points, like the horizontal datum lines and the levelness. He's mentioning some of the key words, but he's just not really.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop giving people this as a pass, right? Now, people are gonna say you are just being mean.
Help it, though.
Go on.
We can't help it. It's, you know, FED has been on the flat foot for 1 year and change, is it? Like, we can't expect the slowest of the world to keep up with that pace, man. I mean, because in order to see the simplicity of it all, we had to be complex, digging into logical fallacies, digging into hearing every single lie in order to see the simplicity of it all. Because if it was easy for us to accept water as level, we'd have just did that from day one.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, actually. I mean, I kind of is because you linked it to it at the end when you said, well, it's really easy when you start getting the measurements. Well, that's true. As far as I'm now concerned, and this is to my detriment and yours, no offence, Eli, but this is like shooting ducks in a barrel, isn't it? Every single referenceable, provable, measurable Earth measurement that could support or debunk our position as flat earthers will always and can only support our position. That is to say, because Earth actually is flat and that's how it's always measured, it's hard to go wrong, right? Now, I get that they've created a whole paradigm of, well, let's argue about how the flat earthers say that the Earth curve measurements don't work correctly, because then you've got this whole paradigm where flat earthers are actually the people that say Earth curve maths are wrong. Well, that's quite useful for an argument that needs to be supportive towards the globe side of the argument. But when you actually break down what a flat earther's job is in the argument, it's like shooting ducks in a barrel, right? How can you go wrong? Just go to any Earth measurement and you'll win. Instantly. You can do it with one word, miles. So when you realise that actually, yeah, the odds are actually stacked massively in flat earthers' favour, you go, you've got to be pretty dumb to lose. And why do you lose most of the time, flat earthers? Oh, because you get into the globers rhetoric of how it ain't a globe. And what do you know? You're too dumb to have learnt it inside out and back to front. Well, you don't need to. It's like shooting, just go to any measurement of Earth and it'll be flat. And stop. Don't start telling them how they're wrong about their globe or how their globe don't work with the flat Earth. You don't need to. So when you break it down like that, you go, how could you go wrong? How can you get it? How can you mess this up? Oh, you're introducing your opponent's argument on their behalf. Why? You've already won. Just give a measurement of any distance ever or any height ever, and you've won.
No, Nathan, it's not that simple.
I have a question.
No, you're too late. You can go second. Brian first, because he was like, no, he disagreed.
No. I interrupted you.
I know it was Eli
literally
first.
first.
Sorry, my bad, Eli. You were into this discussion first. Brian, you'll have to wait. It was actually a discussion with Eli. I just thought it concluded when you.
And I actually interrupted like right before he spoke. But go ahead, Brian. Good morning.
No, Eli, you go ahead. I'm not the same voice for Eli to go.
No, hell
ahead.
no. You go first. Eli's just rude. He is in Discord, isn't he? He is.
Yeah,
Eli's just rude. You go ahead, Brian. Now go ahead, Eli.
Yeah. What do you guys think about? Okay, probably not Nathan. Nathan's lazy. We gotta find. I think that we should pool the flat earthers together and have conversations at them or with them. I don't mean like it doesn't. Why does it have to just be this video format where we respond? We could do that and then some. I don't see why we can't be having round tables with flat earthers who insist on seeming like they haven't heard FED's show. All right, I'll bring FED to you. Why aren't you talking about how every globe Earth rhetoric includes flat Earth measurements? Let's start there. What's the problem? Like, all of these people are reachable. They're on the internet. We just don't like to hang with them.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, these people want there to be an argument, though. I've heard it so many times that we get booted and scooted from various different platforms because we end the argument. We don't allow there to be an argument. We stop our opponent when they start utilising flat Earth measurements and say, you can't do that, you're using a flat Earth measurement. And then the mods will get annoyed with us. Don't interrupt him just because he's using your flat Earth measurement. Isn't what they say. They just say, don't interrupt the opponent and try and end the argument. We want the argument to carry on for 3 hours. It's like, why do we want the argument to carry on for 3 hours? Oh, because that's what you want. You want the argument to carry on for 3 hours. So us instantly ending the argument isn't what people want. They genuinely don't want that.
I think you even tried in the past before Sharon turned into.
We'll just round out with Eli first. Go ahead. Then Brian. Then Wandek. Go ahead, Eli.
We're focused on the small niche of people that are like us. There's a vast majority of normies out there that aren't engaging flat Earth unless it's to remember that they saw some stupid Simon Dan video or something. Like, we need to figure out how to re-engage normies because they're checked out. We think we're talking to normies. We're literally just in a vacuum talking to each other and anti-flat earthers. And every now and again, a normie trickles into the cave. We need to do something else. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say.
Hello, mind if I chime in?
You can in just a second. Brian, did you want to just get your point out and then Wandek and then what's your name, sir?
Flat Earth Friend.
Flat
I
Earth
just
Friend
happened
will
to
come to
stumble
you
by and
shortly.
I heard Eli say how to appeal to a larger audience.
We'll come to you in a
No,
second.
leave this man go ahead. Nathan, leave this man go. I go off.
Well, just one deck. Did you have something you wanted to get in just quickly?
No, it's okay. He's gone
Go
now.
ahead,
So,
Flat Earth friend.
let the guy carry on. No
Go
problem.
ahead. Flat Earth friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, hi. Sorry about the background noise, by the way. I'm in a car. But yeah, I've been thinking about how to reach a larger audience from the flat earth side perspective, because that's what I'm doing on Instagram. And I'll just keep it short, but you guys really need to appeal to like the alt-right politics guys. Like, so many people are waking up to, geopolitics issues and such. And these people are really open to learn about new perspectives, particularly from a Christian point of view. So maybe it'd be a good idea to appeal to someone like Zerka, which Wits it has done, very smartly so. People like Nick Fuentes, Nico, these people are all very open to flat earth with huge audiences, but the problem is they never get the good people representing it for them. So thought I'd just throw my 2 cents and my thoughts out there. But please continue the conversation.
Absolutely. Anybody who's got any suggestions like this gentleman has very kindly done, please send them to me by any means that I have available to you to contact me with. Which is to say, I want these people to have me on their shows in the very near future to promote the very best resource there will be for this subject matter. That will be Welcome to Flat Earth by Nathan Oakley, the book that is about to come out. Now, that book will be promoted on those platforms if I have contact information for them and can say, you have been recommended by a gentleman who goes by the name of Flat Earth Friend. I understand from the information he has given to me to date that you have had Witsit on as an interviewee. I have a book to promote, and it is the best Flat Earth resource available to date. In fact, for the last, for the previous 100 years, or however I'll phrase it. But my point is, I need these contacts, and I don't have them. I don't know who these people are. I've never heard these names before in my life. But you want me to engage with them. Now, I will if I've got something to shill for, and that's a book. Because then I've got every excuse to say, I don't know you, you've been recommended to me, and I'm shilling my book. Gonna come on and shill my book? Because then people go, oh, you want to shill a book? And I go, yeah, there's an affiliate program. You can make $10 a book. Want to make $10 a book? Put the link below, have me on your show, you'll make $10 a book. That people will respond to, trust me. Brian.
Okay, Nathan. You were saying earlier that I heard you say you can just say Moyle when the debate, right? Let's just say there's 500 people listening to that debate, and 499 of them are totally against you, but one of them is open to listening to both sides. You saying Moyle, right? Just Moyle alone might win you a debate, but it doesn't educate that person who is interested in listening to both sides, so that you've then lost that one person who don't know what your Moyle what's that about. If they don't know what you're on about, Moyle, that's not going to do it. And even if you do just say Moyle, how does that prove it?
Yeah, I get
I'm
what you're
asking
saying.
you that question. Just saying Moyle, how does it prove it? You have to be able to prove that.
I get that. You would prefer an elaboration on it, and I'm keeping it concise to go through the point in hand when going through a video. No, miles as a single word is a gross exaggeration to suggest that that is the be-all and end-all of ending any flat Earth debate. Me describing how the linear measurement of Earth's surface with miles, in response to somebody suggesting that you can measure a distance in miles and then suggest that the deviation from a level plane surface measured in linear miles would be the curve you could describe in miles that aren't curving. Yes, an elaboration would put a concise end to the discussion and educate the person I'm in debate with, Brian. And yes.
Sorry.
No, you feel free. You're critiquing me. I'm taking it not with gritted teeth because it's perfectly valid. I'm using this Scamtarctica video the same way you're using me, and I don't disapprove.
The point I'm making, right, is that one person out of that 300 people or whatever, that might be open to listening to both sides, that isn't just totally opposed to you and doesn't care what you say and won't hear it because they don't care. and they won't hear the rubbish that your opponent is coming up with, because all they're going to do is support that person regardless of what they say. That one person, if you just say a mile and leave it at that, they're not going to know what you're on about, right? The truth is, a mile can be curved, a mile can be wound around something, can be brought up and down, across up a mountain or down a mountain, blah blah blah. But what proves the mile, right, is horizontal, a linear, right? You go back, what's an inch? An inch is a straight line. 12 of them make a foot. Foot is a straight line. 5,280 of those make a mile. If you're talking about a distance between 2 points, and as the crow flies or airline distance, you're talking about a straight line distance. If you're talking about that in miles, then you're talking about a horizontal straight line linear distance. Just that little bit alone gives the person, then the person's going, that is true. Inches are straight, and so are feet. And before you know it, they're not thinking, mile, what's that about? So just saying something like that, the problem is that you can be, and I spoke about this with Adam and some of the lads on Discord last night. You can be in danger of becoming a brilliant debater. I can go and debate any topic from the debating skills I learned in this arena. I can go in and debate almost any topic, and most of the time I don't even need to know the details. I can beat the person of their own fallacies and just using logic. But that doesn't mean anything, because I'm not proving to an audience that I'm correct. I'm just proving that I'm able to win a debate. You have to be able to show the audience that your opponent's position is wrong and that your position is correct, not that you're a better debater. Because there's ballers out there who are better debaters than flat earthers. And that's why sometimes flat earthers end up looking bad, because they're not good debaters. That doesn't mean what they're talking about is wrong, or what the baller is talking about is right. So you do need to be a good debater, but you can't just end up as just a good debater, because that's no good to anyone. No one in the audience learns anything.
And that's because well, I don't really know why or how they can do this. I guess it's circular reasoning, or the ability for humans to continuously circle a conversation. But the problem latter to their point. So they'll say, hold on, truck will. Sorry about that, Nathan. They'll say something like, I don't know, star rotation proves that the earth can't be flat. Like, oftentimes they don't even say it's a globe. Talking, it can't be flat. Or if it's flat, then explain star rotation. You're already put on the back foot. Now you're explaining stuff that you shouldn't be explaining, not because you can't explain it. You don't have to explain anything. Remember, if you started the conversation with Earth measures flat, what are you doing talking about star rotation? Because they brought it up? Well, if it was flat, then how do you explain it? No. If there were less of us engaging people in those conversations, maybe they would hear more of our conversation.
But if you're engaging in that conversation with somebody about how Earth measures flat, then you've immediately taken the position of a flat Earth evangelist. And you should know all of the arguments inside out and back to front. And if you don't go up to people telling them that Earth's measured flat.
Yeah, but you're doing critiques of guys like this guy from Scamtartica over and over again, who are building
Check 1, 2.
They're building the basis of learning the arguments. And it might sound corny now because we've been around for so long, but people need to hear this kind of stuff before they get to the extreme levels that we're at. Now, for example, when we explain linear measurements such as inch, foot, mile, we can explain that as a linear measurement, but people don't understand how we get to the linear measurement.
out.
Hello? Go ahead, whoever that is. Somebody saying hello?
Thought it was Eli. Was it? No.
Is that you, Eli?
I'm sorry, my service. I thought it was his service cutting out, but it was mine. My apologies.
Carry on, Jardo.
I just want to emphasize, just cut in here, that I do enjoy the fact that the main thesis is to make a positive claim for flat Earth, and I think we're going through that video shows very much, in every step of the way, a flat earther can make a positive case that is flat, and there is no need to rebuttal that, because anything that they're going to utilize is going to necessarily rely on your arguments that shows and demonstrates that it's flat. So,
I mean, I've done it with a few friends in the past when who were Globers, but not in this arena, but, you know, well, and I've said, well, just go and do a quick Google search and it'll come back with Eratosthenes. And I've actually sat down with them looking at the diagram. You're not going on and on at them and beating them up, but trying to make them see what's actually happening about and talking about the angle. You can't have that on a curved surface, the presuppositions that are in that story, and then the mathematical. And I've done that and sat down with people, and yeah, they've maybe not, even though they've seen exactly what I'm saying and pointing out is truth, they've maybe not walked away as a flat earther, but you know, that's a good way to go about it sometimes. But even when we've had people coming in here, Globers, you know, if you give them the mic for a minute, they'll also, when trying to describe how Earth curves measured, will be describing angle measurements. And we could, yeah, sometimes we do beat them up very quickly for that. Sometimes they don't let us stop and explain. It can get a bit of friction like that. So I think we do try a little bit of this as well, to be honest with you. I think Nathan's actually mentioned it to Jeren and Witzy in the past before one of them turned back to the globe. To go front foot forward, you know, we need to start. This is the way, and Dave Weiss, but these people who were supposedly, you know, in this arena at a high level, haven't taken that advice on board for some reason, and still talk about, well, that can't be right, because if it was a globe, they're still doing what this guy's doing. You know, I'll be quiet now because I'm losing my trail of thought. Sorry.
It's okay. We've got a super chat.
All right, well, I'll pick it up. No. Oh, I thought you were going to try.
Well, there's a super chat. I'll just do it quickly.
We got a little more meat on this bone.
Sure, but I'll just read out the super chat from Tom. It says, an inch is just like a really small Home Depot. Well, yeah, I get the sentiment, Tom. Same as miles, same as kilometers, same as meters, same as feet, same as yards. They're all linear. So an inch is like a really small Home Depot. Like Earth is like a Home Depot on a massive scale. Yeah, what, measured flat? With linear miles or inches? Yes, it is, yes. Go ahead, Eli. Thank you for the super chat, Tom.
Yeah. Oh man, did I lose my train of thought that fast? I don't think I did. So the thing with you know what I get? I've heard this so many times throughout the years. Now, in retrospect, from people that aren't trustworthy. Now, here's the thing. Everyone has said, or there are a lot of people that have said, well, you know, when you're first looking into it, you kind of need this level, X level, whatever, that rudiment, that level where people start talking about, oh, we see too far type stuff. People keep saying that step is necessary. You know what? Validate that premise. I've even said it before. I don't know why that would be better. Why would that be better? Why are you saying that? Why was I saying that? Can somebody respond to that? Why would that be better than the things that we're talking about now? We could point them to a manual. We could literally moonwalk on them at this point. Like he said, like Nathan said, it's super easy at this point. It's like shooting ducks in a barrel.
Yeah, I agree. So why not just point out how easy it is? Now, obviously, there's going to be a certain number of naysayers that say you've got to make it complicated, and not mention any names. Brian's logic. There's going to be people like that just want to make your life hard. But if you can walk past those people and just realise that it is really simple, and no matter what you suggest or how you argue about Earth, it will always be measured flat, then you can put the next man who's arguing for it being on a ball on the back foot the minute you point out their measurements are flat.
That's not what Brian's saying. He's
God,
saying the layman is not going to understand it. Saying the layman's not going to understand it. Same thing when a guy came in with the elevation angle. He didn't know what the hell you were talking about. The layman doesn't get it, so it's better to break it down for them within that. It was less than 2 minutes Brian broke that down.
Why? The layman doesn't understand that you're measuring Earth flat when you measure Earth flat. Not my problem. If the layman is too dumb to understand, that is not my problem. If the general capability of the general public is to understand implicitly that a flat measurement is flat, and they don't want to believe that because they're told, no, the surface of Earth is curving. So when someone points out a flat measurement of the surface of Earth, that means they're wrong. And they start telling you that your flat surface measurement of a flat surface isn't a flat surface measurement of a flat surface because Earth's a ball. I don't care.
Yeah, can I say why? Why can't you drive around a globe and get miles on your car? I don't understand how. It works on a globe.
Look, I've got my hooks in Brian now. I can hear the flap of the fish at the surface. Go ahead, Brian.
I agree with Nathan. Like it, because oftentimes when I'm engaging someone, depending on the questions that they ask me, you have to be able to ask me questions that are directly related to what I just told you. If I can tell you're veering off into this part, things that don't have anything to do with what I'm talking about, and I'm trying to mentally pull you down a certain corridor and you're mentally fighting it, I can't talk to you. That's the answer. The answer isn't, now I'm going to make an enemy out of this person. Now we're going to argue back and forth for 3 years. No, you, sir, are not ready to accept that a mile is flat. Sorry.
I just want to butt in here before, because talking about the layman, typically a layman will believe things based on authority figures. They're based on some higher authority. They'll base things what space is based on NASA. They'll base things like on the eclipse, on what they were told what the eclipse is. It's actually usually everything what a layman believes is based on authority. That's why it says, "Oh, this is not going to work because the layman's not going to believe this," because
that's not true.
Yeah, they don't have the same basis.
And that's exactly why you've got to demonstrate.
Hold on, what you're talking about. Neil said that's not true. Go ahead, Neil. Then Brian.
I don't think that's true with the layman. Layman's not going to believe what anybody says. I search things out for myself, and I'm a layman. Now I use a little wheel on a stick, and I go straight down to measure my rooms. I could take a freaking Earth-sized ball. It's a game called Earth Ball. Take that same thing and go around that thing, and it will let me know how many miles I went around it. Okay? So there you go.
I just want to say, most people believe in the ISS. Do you think they believe it because they have an argument for it, or they were told by an authority?
Dude, chill. Dude, what's your name?
Amir.
Amir, just give us a sec. Brian, then Amir. Go ahead, Brian.
You, after I said what I said to you, you then poo-pooed it, right? You deny it, right? I'm not talking about, right? I'm not talking about, let me put this the right way. I'm not talking about boring someone, I'm talking about demonstrating that you know what you're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Not just saying Moyle is not demonstrating to the ignorant that you know what you're talking about. That is not demonstrating it. That's why when I asked you, Nathan, to prove how, by saying Moyle, prove a Moyle is linear, you didn't give me back anything. I gave it to you, the details.
Oh,
it's
so you're
important
saying that
if I'm
Nathan is
debating
like the
someone
dude
to
in
know.
Discord that says
Eli,
Miles.
Eli, right? When I'm having a strip tour off me, you don't have to have the penny drop that I'm having a strip tour off me, right? I can cope. Thanks. No offense. You go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I won't be long, Eli. The point I'm making, Nathan, is you must be able to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about to the audience. Now, if you're in a debate, you're not going to have 20 minutes, but you must take the time you have and be able to demonstrate that what you're saying is correct and what your opponent is saying is incorrect. You need to use that time to do that. Sometimes you don't have much time, I get that. But when you do have the option and you do have a little bit of time, you must demonstrate. Otherwise, the person doesn't know, like, whether or not you know what you're talking about. I said this to Adam, and Adam agreed with me. And you can take what me and Adam say with a pinch of salt. You can throw it out, whatever. But if I came to the show today and I heard you saying for the first time, and I heard you saying Miles, like, it's measure flat, Miles, that wouldn't keep me. I would go, right. I'm looking for
That's okay.
evidence.
I'll take it.
Detail.
Yes. I completely agree, and it is substandard for me to do so. So to put it back on the other foot, what would you suggest would be the most efficient way to take the person who's arguing with me that Earth's a sphere? Now, at the point that I'm going to take it that I would interject and say, you're using miles, then welcome to flat Earth. Insufficient, right? Now, to encourage you to better that, what would you do in the same circumstance where I would say, welcome to flat Earth, you've just used miles? Not good enough. What would you do?
Well, the hypothetical situation is if there's a debate going on. Most of the time I'm present in this show, there isn't a debate. Right? You could say to the person you're using miles. You could say that you could point that out. I could point that out. Yeah, that could be used in the debate. But you don't want a situation where you're just good at winning debates and nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. You understand what I mean? When you have the opportunity
Brian,
to put that little bit of detail in to prove that you know what you're talking about. Go on, Eli.
Yeah, I'm listening for your example because you were right, and Nathan, I guess he understood what you were saying. Again, Nathan is like you know what you're breeding, Nathan? You're breeding the kinds of people that like casually listen to FED, and then they go on in Discord, and then they say, yeah, Earth's measured flat. Haven't you heard of a mile? Like, and then that's literally it, because that's all you said. They're not around in the after show, or they're not listening extensively to understand how much more there is to say. That's all they said. That's a problem.
Yes,
So, Brian, what should they say? That's the question.
Well, if you're going to stop them at that point to say you're using a miles, that is a measurement of a flat Earth, or miles are, you must, like, if you're going to say that and they're using a distance, you again must go into a distance is between 2 points from A to B, right? And point out that what the person is describing is an as the crow flies distance, like an airline distance. That's going to be straight line. There won't be any curving to that. Then you go into, you're using miles. You can even start off with saying, you start off with an inch, and then go to a foot. You know what I mean? Inches are straight, feet are straight. You put them all together, a mile becomes straight. 10 of those miles is straight. Right? And then you can point out, if you want, that what they're talking about as a distance is between A and B, which is always a linear straight line. Because the shortest route between any 2 points is a straight line in reality. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's not going to work on their globe, but who cares? The point I'm making is that little extra bit of detail lets the person that's listening know, did you know what you're talking about? As opposed to just beating the opponent and the person sitting on the sidelines who isn't willing to listen to both sides doesn't have a clue what you're talking about. As I said, if I came to the show and that's what I was hearing in today's world, I probably wouldn't stay. And Adam said the same thing, because just saying those things is not enough, in my opinion. Now, people can have, that's my opinion on it. That's how I see it.
That doesn't answer him.
What's up,
He's asking-
everyone?
Hold on, just one sec. He's asking, how would you best phrase it if you were to approach somebody who, in debate or otherwise, needs it illustrating to them that in order to use miles, Earth must be flat? How do you get, if miles is point A and Earth being flat is point D, what's the B and C of it, Brian?
Yeah, I pointed it out, Nathan, that if you're talking about a distance between 2 points, point A to point B, you're always talking about a straight line distance. In reality, all distances between point A and point B are straight lines, because the shortest route distances, let's just say in their infancy, are straight line shortest route distances. You're not taking in all the road systems between Chicago and Detroit. I just use those two as an example. If you want to talk about what is the distance between Chicago and Detroit, it's just the distance will be given to you as a straight line, as the crow flies, shortest route. Do you know what I mean? That's what you're talking about. You're not so you then point out that it's always linear. Then you can go into, or you can go into first, that the mile is, what is a mile? Right, you go to its origin, which is the inch. Do you know what I mean? And then the foot, then the mile. Then you can say 10 miles, whatever. The point being is that you're pointing out that what a mile is and what a distance between 2 points are. Right? Everyone knows that. Everyone knows the distance between 2 points is not curved. So for them to put that, turn that into an arc length, they've got to first adhere to what a mile is, which is a straight horizontal. Then they've got to add all the miles between Chicago and Detroit together, which will be via the shortest route between the 2 points, which will be straight line, and then add an R value, right? But the R value part comes afterwards. That they add mathematically has nothing to do with reality. In reality, that distance is a straight horizontal between point A, Chicago, and point B, Detroit. You know what I mean? That's the point. We're talking about reality. So you don't have to go into loads and loads of stuff, because there isn't much detail to go into. But the little bit you do go into is proving your position to the person who doesn't know what you're talking about.
Can I just chime in here?
You can.
Quietly?
Perfect. Thank you, Brian. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the problem we have is we've deviated, like we've just done a massive segue away from Scamtartica, and along the way we've chopped off educating flat earthers to trying to educate globers somehow. The initial discussion was talking about how we can educate other flat earthers. Now, in relation to saying flat earth measurements, how do we derive the inch? How do we derive the mile? That's what people want to know. And we haven't covered that yet. So, for example, if I have a belt that's 44 inches, that's measured linear, and I put it on my waist, that 44 inches, is it still 44 inches if I put it around my waist? That's kind of stuff that flat earthers are asking.
But you literally answered the question though, because the inch at first is a linear standard. What do we call it? Like what we say about time? It's something that we've agreed upon already.
Yeah,
like just because you wrap it around your waist doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like I could go into how the inch is from the knuckle, the knuckle nearest the tip of the thumb to the tip of the thumb of a grown man. That's how they initially determine an inch, and that's a straight line they're talking about. So a little straight line distance multiplied by 12 gives you a foot. That multiplied by 5,280 gives you a mile. I can go into the details of where the mile came from. via the marching of soldiers, the Romans and then the British. The Romans was 5,000, the British turned it into 5,280. It's now 5,280 of those straight line feet, and all those feet are made up of 12 segments of straight line inches. So you can go into that as well. But I'm like, the example I was given was a debate. So I'd be putting in as much detail as I can, but I'd only get a certain amount of time to do that in the debate. The point is that, as Eli said, it's an agreed upon thing. But an inch is not a curve. No matter what way you twist or turn it, you can curve an inch, right? You can do that around your waist, but the initial measurement is a straight line.
Any more for any more? No? Well, and with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Jolly good. That was quite a long live stream, wasn't it?
Yeah, personally, I like it being 1 hour because it's perfect for work. But that was a great show at the end.
Why don't we just ask a normie why saying inches, miles, welcome to Flat Earth? Why don't we ask one of them why that isn't enough?
I think I can anticipate what they'd say. I've thought about using the argument quite a bit, and what Brian was referring to with inches and a belt, for example, because I think, okay, inches are really good because it's very visual, and they can, imagine a short, small inch, linear measurement. But then, of course, your waistline, there's certain concepts that are already included now as rounded measurements, and I would never use just a mile or anything like that. I mean, I think part of it is too, Nathan's been doing this for 10 years. And so he's, Occam's razor is pretty attractive sometimes as well. And he kind of paraphrases maybe, and might not be aware that, a newcomer hearing that won't understand, obviously, because there's quite a bit of background to all this stuff.
Hey, don't you start.
Once you take a line, draw that, arc it up, meters, miles, whatever you want. You then write down whatever you want. It's still linear distance. Nothing changes that.
I didn't hear any of that. Sorry.
After you have out inch, lay out full and
You're
straight.
breaking up, John. It's a train wreck.
It's a lie.
I can hear his kids just fine, though.
Yeah, the compressor picks him up.
I've got to disappear shortly, so hopefully a conversation will carry on and, people's crap connection won't just leave the silence, because otherwise I've got to round out now before I go and drop this parcel off, because I can't trust that there's going to just not be endless dead air.
I don't think you can.
Like Eli was saying we needed to put out more honey. Because this is kind of earth shattering to some of us, and it keeps us, and it's addicting. And to a normie, that kind of seems like junky behavior. And to just be like, yeah, it's flat, it's measured flat, an inch is a mile, it's flat. It's easy to fuck it up and make it sound crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
what's the measuring devices?
Stop this.
How did we come up with the
Stop.
measuring devices?
Stop.
Go ahead, Refracted. You were going over with me the other day. Go ahead.
It's fine. Once you get a line, a straight, flat line, you can wrap it around whatever you want. But you need to get the liners. The bell never. It's a straight line first.
I know. I say curves from what I said that'd be in the chat. You know, it's very easy. There's level, and that's what we use as Earth every time.
Hey, John, I just took a measuring device and wrapped it around an Earth ball, and I got the footage what it was going around. Okay, tough guy.
Well, the point the point is that, and I think Brian is right. Oh, look, it's an inch. Welcome to flat Earth. No, that's not enough. Well, the reason that an inch proves the Earth is flat is
No,
because an inch is going to
say
give.
that, did I?
Listen. The actual point that we're proving is that the Earth is a plane, and the reason we can use miles on the Earth is because they're parallel to each other, which you couldn't have if it was a continuously curving surface. Now you can wrap an inch around anything. That's true. But when we're talking about the Earth, the way that we're now utilizing this concept or whatever, this measurement, whatever it is as a flat plane. In that particular instance, just like you can wrap it around your fat head or whatever else you like. But initially, in order for it to work on the Earth, is because the Earth is a plane.
Okay. I said, the against me too.
I think you're breaking up. Am I breaking up or is that John?
No, you're good. It's John.
Yeah, it's John breaking up. Sorry, John. We can't hear you really well.
I don't even know if you're trying right now, John. Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right. It seems that what I say is being said back to me with extra word, and that's the argument.
It's not great. Sorry. We can't hear you. It's like every other word.
Well, just want to get back to that. What would normies say? I think at one point all of us were normies. So I just think if you reflect on what particularly convinced you, or what gave you doubt that what you've been taught was real, I think that's still the case for most people nowadays.
I ignored literally all of the things that, like the Feast of Nonsense stuff. See, so I don't have, I don't know what does it for other people, because they've come down a different path than I did. Immediately, like, after I figured out the moon landing wasn't a thing, like everything else was okay, but how do we know it's a globe? And the real question was, who measured it to be that way and how do we know? Once I found out that every time I went out to a different forum platform to ask this question, because I wasn't being a dick, I was just a regular guy with a regular job, and it was just something that was burning in me. It's like, yo, this flat earth stuff people are talking about, like, okay, so we get down to the whole you know Venus is the same size as Earth. How do they know what size Earth is and what size Venus is? And then we get to Eratosthenes, and then you see the assumptions there, and you're like, holy shit, no one's ever done it. That was the end of my skepticism. I knew the Earth wasn't a globe. It took longer for me to figure out how it's flat. But people aren't concerned with that. They're concerned with, let's all come together and pool our resources to investigate Antarctica. Let's pool our resources together to talk to the government and all this other extra shit. Like, just let the truth come out of your mouth and stop focusing on all the other stuff.
But my question to you is, why did you believe in the moon landing in the first place?
Because it was like just accepted. I had no reason to question it. What do you mean?
It was because it was told for you through an authority figure who you trusted. Because they didn't give you any.
Yeah.
That is that is the way most normies believe things.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, I was also, when 9/11 happened, that broke that for me. It didn't stop my bad thinking. It just got me more aware of my surroundings.
That's another thing too. If someone doesn't have any other baggage like 9/11 or something else, it's pretty unlikely that the conversation is going to work. And secondly, after so much time, for me at least, what I had to do was, when I heard about flat Earth, which is about 4 or 5 years ago, I had to go, and I actually bought a P900 and went and did those things myself. I went to the beach and looked at the horizon, did everything that I could personally do physically to try to verify something, because that would be the only thing that would, you know what I mean? Oftentimes it's just everything's online these days, right? And so people are debating things that they don't have any experiential learning. And so that's pretty important. Like, I've invited some people to come down to the beach with me and let's check this out. But the interest has to be there already for them. Otherwise, they just perceive you as spurging out or something to them,
Oh, did you say beach? Eli's with you there. Eli's a big beach guy.
Yeah,
right, Eli?
That's the easy one. I'm like, at the beach, I'm definitely slam dunking. So easy, especially here in New York City, because I can just show them Jersey, then I can show them the horizon, then I go back to Nat Geo and show how, because when you tell them, hey, so you see that horizontal line right there, that's Earth curve, that's where the edge of the Earth is. People actually don't believe that. Honestly, people do, like, when they're thinking about it critically, and I'm giving you air quotes, that's when behind a computer they'll say, oh, that's the edge of Earth. But just cavalierly, you just throwing it out there, like, their mind is not thinking the horizon is the leading edge of a sphere. Because all my friends say, oh, I just thought, like, I couldn't see beyond that, but I assumed it was there, I just can't see it. You know what I mean? So,
Eli, you get a lot of, wait, that's too small. It can't be the Earth. What? You're right.
Exactly.
They have no idea.
So once they hear and it's easy, like my method is like 10 minutes because it's like, all right, well, I'm telling you, that's what people say it is, and they don't know that. All right, let me go ahead and go to this quick 1 minute, 30-second YouTube video. Guy explains the distance to the horizon, blah, 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 blah. Then I show them the quick formulation from Andrew Thomas Young or whoever, just real quick on Google, whatever EDU source, just to make it look extra. Ooh, I'm paying attention. I got it from a school site, whatever. And I show them the math, and then I'm like, okay, see, that's the claim. And then I show them Nat Geo with the boat, with the flags, and the flags disappearing, but the horizon, not being at 1.22 miles, like the guy said in the video. So then they understand, okay, something's going on here. You're saying that the claim is that that's the edge of the earth. The internet and all of the information you're showing me is also saying that. Here I am at the beach looking at Jersey 6 miles away, and the horizon is way the F over there, beyond Jersey. Okay. You got something, is what they usually say. You got something. That's weird. That's their response.
Okay. I'm back now, by the way. Go on, Jardo. You've got your hand raised. Do you want to add something? Clearly not. Oh, go ahead. Or don't. It's entirely up to you.
Would you all go to sleep? What happened?
I'm looking around now. Relax, Nathan.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. I'm just vacuuming because I got a valuer coming tomorrow. Trying to clean up. I had my hand raised about 45 minutes ago. I have no idea why I raised it because we've moved on topics from there. Is the hand raising thing in G Plus just for chumps, or does it actually work?
I mean, I see it and then ignore it.
Okay, so it's just for.
Yes. But you've just ejected yourself by accident by the looks of things, Jardo, which is hilarious.
He was saying goodbye with the hand raise.
Right, is that it? Is that the end?
No, it's
And
not
with
the
that, I
end.
want
We're
to say
having
an
a
enormous
conversation here.
thank you to.
Well, we were Neil, and then everybody disappeared. So I guess that is it. Good show.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with what you were saying. And it has to be, yeah, it's this whole the difference between flat earth evangelist, as it's called here, and someone who just knows. It is true, but it also has to come out of them. There has to be some fleck of interest, because if you start winning in a debate, quote unquote, then the pride usually hits, or something happens and they call you obsessed or crazy or a nutter or something. So I don't know how it is, how to, that small window of opportunity, right? And I've found that recently it's actually not being conclusive at all and almost being cryptic. And if they do ask again, then they're hooked perhaps, but if they don't ever ask, then that's that, right?
Yeah.
Also, when's the book coming out, Nathan?
Soon.
I'm looking forward to translating it, genuinely.
We need to get you involved in some of the actual editing, the book processes. So, are you on Teams, formerly Skype?
I'm not, but I'd love to sit in and just hear what you guys are saying for sure.
Okay. Well, we need to get you into Teams so that you can receive the invite so that you can sit on one of the book editing sessions. Now, as it happens, you'll also get to hear other people poke fun at me because I'm sitting not doing much while this happens, and people saying it's not my book anymore, things like that. All good fun, all at my detriment. But in sincerity, you do need to be sat in.
Yeah, I
ideally.
get it.
Even if it's just for a couple. Just so
No,
you
it's
can
great
get
for me because I need to
Yeah, go ahead.
find some of the parallel bibliography, and if some things are perhaps you're working with stuff that's already been translated. So if you're citing things, then I'd like to get a head start on looking those.
You've got it.
That bibliography up and
precisely.
so on.
You're
So
way
great.
ahead of me. Exactly. That's why ideally you need to be there. So I don't know how to liaise with you to get you onto Teams.
What's his name? I can invite him.
Ventriloquorum on the chat. Mark. My name is Mark.
All right, I'm going to try to invite you to Master Big in Teams.
What, via Discord? Yeah. Neil, he's in Discord, so you're going to contact him via Discord, right? He needs to know how you're going to get in touch with him to invite him.
Yeah, I'm going to go to his Discord and see if I can invite him to our Teams. Give me a second.
I'm getting slightly stroppy with Neil because I don't know how to do this. That is to say, getting you from being in Discord to being in Teams is beyond my technical capabilities. So I'm glad Neil's piped up.
Yeah, no, he's on the ball. He's already gotten in touch with me a couple times. So thanks, Neil.
On the
we'll
ball.
We'll get you into
on the ball.
We'll get you into book review in Teams.
She's on the plane. Sorry.
Yeah, and then you can join. Next one will be Monday, but whenever between now and a month or two time when it's finished.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hello?
Monday should be good.
Hello, whoever said hello.
Bit fun playing around with AI music generator last night, and I came up with There's the Guns MC Tune song. But I'm still at work at the moment, so I'll not be able to upload it to Discord for about half an hour. If it's still about, you can have a listen.
Awesome.
But I've played guitar and many other instruments for 25 years, but these AI music generators, it makes me think, why the hell did I bother? It's ridiculous what you can come up with from just a few prompts.
Yeah, because as a musician, I've watched Cheswick work with these AI music generators. It still requires your input as a musician to get it to produce something good. So it's a misconception that you can just wave a magic wand over an AI music generator and get it to produce something good. It still requires your input.
I think it took about 30 different ones till I came up with the one that I was happy with.
Like if you use a preset, it doesn't make, like, there'll never be software where, you know, you press a button and now all of a sudden you're making millions of dollars. Why? Because all of the users that are novices are going to be doing the same thing. But technology is always more complex than what you receive as the person just trying to use it for what it was sold for. For example, the Nintendo Wii. The Nintendo Wii was only capable of playing Nintendo games. And I forget, like, you know, the other things, but it was Blu-ray capable. You were able to download games from any, like, you could get an emulator and play any game you want. That's not something that was advertised. So you'll have like a 2-year-old playing like Mario Party, but you'll have an adult who will really get the maximum use out of this tool. And that's what a real musician would do with this software.
Happy to create whatever tunes for whatever subject within the debate, so you've got a little more content to stick on your edits and whatnot every week. More than happy to do that. Well, depends if you think the song's great or not.
Nathan. Don't split yet. We'll see if we get him in there. Because I sent him the invite. Now I got to see if he's in Master B.
You aren't, Neil? Sorry, I was just pouring water over a pot noodle.
I was able to invite him to Teams. And now we got to see if he's in Master B, because that's where the link is going. So give it a couple of seconds.
Okay, cool. Just had to post out a microphone to a guy for a second time. So my courier has lost his microphone.
You know they're full of crap, right?
Yeah. Well, it's got missing and it hasn't. It's been tracked, but it's tracked and stopped. So I've like chased it for over 10 days, and I've been, telling him, look, I'll get it moving along. I'll get it moving along. It hasn't. So in between, at about like day 5, rather than eating the refund eventually, I thought, nah, sod that. I'll buy another one. So I did. Bought it and it arrived today. And I've just sent him that. And I've said, here you go. Here's another one. Rather than refunding it. Now, obviously, I'm still losing money, but I'm just not losing as much.
Yeah, that sucks. I shouldn't say they're all full of crap, but most of the people that they're trying to get over. Listen, I went through it when I was doing DoorDash. So many people are trying to get over, but they don't realize the headache they're causing you.
I don't know. I don't think that's the case. Most of the people I've dealt with haven't been like that, because the people I sell to, I'm selling at a higher price. So it tends to be the case that people who are prepared to spend a little bit more are not trying to screw you over. They just want good service or a better product, and they're prepared to pay a little bit more for it. So in this instance, it's like for the 140 or whatever 150 microphones I've sold, the fact that one has gone missing in the post, you're like, well, less than 1% isn't terrible. Yes, it's cost me a bit of money, but it's like, it's not the end of the world. And each mic that has made me a decent profit has counteracted this rare occasion that I've had to send a mic out twice. And in the interim process, I've managed to buy one at a reasonable enough price so it hasn't cost me the world to do so. So this guy's been, reasonably conciliatory. At one point, he asked for a refund. I'm like, well, I've already ordered you a replacement. And he was like, okay. In other words, he was prepared to wait because I've told him, I've ordered you a replacement.
That's good. When you're dealing with higher end people, maybe it's a little bit of a difference. But when you're dealing with the dregs of society in DoorDash, they're all looking to just get over. I literally handed this chick her food. And when I went back, to me because they said they did not receive their food. So what do you do with that? It's my word against her word.
Well, I track stuff, so it's not my word, it's my courier's word. But when it goes missing because of the courier, you're like, fine, whatever, I'll have to just eat that 60 quid.
But again, like Nathan said, people with people who are looking to pay more or have propensity to pay more tend to just want the service. I don't work DoorDash because everybody and their mama could download it and be on there. I use exclusive apps because in the same respect, I'm not going to order food from DoorDash because I know the kind of people that work or that can work with DoorDash versus a higher standard from another delivery service.
Exactly. You use DoorDash.
That's why everybody hates
like Neil
laser
delivering
shit.
your food. Nobody wants Neil delivering them the food from DoorDash. Nobody wants that scumbag, do they, Eli? You've got higher standards than that. And who can blame you with your exclusive apps? But yeah, you are right. You're agreeing with me. I shouldn't be taking the piss. People who pay a little bit more, they're not interested in screwing you over. This guy, he doesn't want to screw me over. He just wants his microphone. So like I say, because I've made a decent profit, I'm prepared to eat this on one occasion. And yes, it's this one individual sale is to my detriment. I've made a loss on it. But every other sale I've sold to, and everyone who's delighted with what they've got out of me and put nice feedback on my eBay profile, helping me sell more microphones, is a testament to the higher class of people that are prepared to spend a little bit more on eBay. You know what I mean? This doesn't mean a great deal, but it does mean that in this instance, because I've kept in touch with him and gone, I'm really sorry this mic's gone missing. Thank you for letting me know straight away so I can start chasing it straight away. And then after 10 days, he's gone, can I have a refund? I've gone, I've ordered you another one. You will get a mic. You will get this mic. And he's gone, oh, okay. Now today, I've gone, your mic's on the way. Your second mic. He's gone, oh, okay. He's not saying, okay, and rubbing his hands together thinking I'm still going to get a refund though, right? He just wants the mic. Anyway, and he'll get one.
He's in the process of getting on Teams. So what do you do? How do you invite them to Master B? Once he's in, you could do that, right, Nathan?
Once he's in, I just need to know his name in Teams, and then I can invite him to anything. But don't tell me verbally on this recording, otherwise you'll suddenly find you're getting quite a few invites from people you may not want them from on Teams. So just we'll keep private communications for people's names in Teams. But yeah, if you can get him in Master B, that would be ideal. Much easier because I can just look down the list. Right, is there anything pressing? Otherwise, I'm going to round out this after show. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm in Teams, by the way. That's it.
Perfect. So we can get you into the book. Absolutely perfect. Right, I'm going to round out this.
Wait. Is he got Master B? Do you see the link for this show?
No, I'm just in a chat with you that I've sent 2 messages, okay, and translator here.
Did you see that, Neil?
Yeah, I did see that. So what's your name, your full name, and
No, don't give him that. I've just said don't do that. Well, you can work this out if you've got communication between you. I'm going to round out the show. Right, so with that, I'm going to say another massive, huge, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.